In 2023, the main Power Rangers series ended with Cosmic Fury, a fine enough show for what it is, but it proved to be a very bitter finale with fans of how Hasbro treated the production and its release. Since then, there's been a long-rumored TV reboot that's been through development hell and still sees no signs of materializing outside of the occasional rumors and vague posting. Hell, Super Sentai finished its 50-year run in 2026 partially because of the old archaic contract, and yet there's still no signs of Power Rangers coming back to TV. Now, half a year ago, I did talk about Ninja Kids releasing their trailer for a Power Rangers web series, which my good buddy Wyatt jokingly called Mighty Mormon Power Rangers. That infamous trailer was filled with generative AI special effects and music as a major slap in the face to both the viewers at home and the fans who contributed art assets to be used in the series. While I was editing that first video covering the situation, which became the third highest viewed video on my channel, thanks all, Ninja Kids took the trailer down. Luckily I managed to download a mirror upload to finish that video, but apparently the reasons it got taken down weren't exactly what we assumed. So from what I can parse from all the bullshit speak from the people involved, Playmates, who are in charge of the Power Rangers Reignition toys, were funding the web series, not Hasbro. When the trailer for the web series was officially released, Hasbro sent a cease and desist to Playmates and Ninja Kids, as Playmates only had the toy license, not any multimedia rights, so this was a legal oopsie. Also, in that cease and desist, a Hasbro executive said the trailer looked quote-unquote too professional, saying it could end up confusing people when or if the Power Rangers Disney Plus reboot comes out. The too professional comment from that executive is very laughable and concerning to me, because if these generative AI special effects are too professional for you, then I think you just don't care about art and there's no way around that. Especially for a kid's property like Power Rangers. I don't want the youth being brain-rotted by these shitty AI effects. We gotta use shitty man-made effects instead. And I mean that 100% earnestly. It's such weird wording and reasoning when Hasbro has other legit firing points to use against Playmates and Ninja Kids, but evil corporation gonna evil corporation, I guess. There have been rumblings that Hasbro and Playmates could finally release the series later this year, but that's FutureBee's problem. What else is going on with Power Rangers right now? Comic books? Well, you like me a good comic book. Let's see what this new Power Rangers Prime reboot has to offer as a reimagining of the Power Rangers series. Oh, that was bad. So Power Rangers Prime is a comic book that advertised itself as a modern reboot of the Power Rangers franchise in the style of Marvel's Ultimate Universe or DC's Absolute Universe, featuring new Ranger designs, remixed story elements, but still being marketed as newcomer friendly. From what I can gather, it seemed to be received positively by those who read and review comic books as they come out, but I kinda hate it for many reasons, notably how it fails to deliver on the fundamental aspects of what it's pitching at its core. I'm not going to go issue by issue or story arc by story arc for this series because frankly, I don't think I can. This comic does a lot of bloated, boring, time-wasting stuff in between the major aspects to talk about, and frankly, I just want to strike into the core of what I don't like about this book. So Power Rangers Prime is written by Melissa Flores, and whatever bad I'm about to say about her writing today, this is no shade to her as a person. I shouldn't have to say that, but this is a woman writing a comic book, and comic book fans have a reputation, so I want to make that clear. Anyway, she's a fine writer, she's worked with comic books before, even worked with Power Rangers. But that's where my issues start to come in. She didn't just work on Power Rangers before, she worked on the last few issues of the first Boom Studio run that wrapped up right before Prime began. I already think it's lame to do a creative reboot of a series and then keep the same creative team on board instead of giving it to someone else in the wide world of comics. But hey, maybe that past knowledge could lead to her knowing what works and doesn't about the franchise when crafting the new universe. Too bad we have lost the plot in Prime, as we're stuck in the shitty sci-fi lore sauce that the worst aspects of the comic books have fostered. It's just more of the same from the last run of comics instead of feeling like a fresh start the franchise desperately needs. I imagine a lot of new readers who just want a cool Power Rangers story picking this comic up and finding it nearly incomprehensible. I mean, take a listen to the core premise of Power Rangers Prime. Zordon's space race of the Altarians have taken over Earth, so Lauren the Red Samurai Ranger and her new friends form the Prime Rangers to rebel. Both in concept and execution, it's too obtuse for a new reader. Even as a longtime Power Rangers fan, this pitch is too bizarre. Yeah, despite my grumbling, Samurai is one of the more popular Power Rangers series right now, so of course they would pull from it, but if you haven't watched that show, why should you care about what's happening here? Past Power Rangers comics, like those written by Ryan Parrott or Kyle Higgins, despite their own problems, actually give you character moments that weren't just winks and nods to fans, but just good character work in general to give even newcomers an idea of what makes these characters tick. Lauren is just thrown here as the Red Female Ranger instead of making a new character because popularity. I know the inspirations for this comic are Ultimate Spider-Man and Absolute Batman, which remix pre-existing lore, but one, those tastefully and creatively offer new takes on the characters rather than just the random bullshit go approach Prime does, and two, those are Spider-Man and Batman, some of the most popular characters on Earth. Even people who don't read comics know a lot about them just from cultural osmosis and adaptations. Power Rangers lore isn't as widely known like that, and pretending it is stupid. I'm sorry I'm so hung up on the pitch, but Power Rangers has been bleeding goodwill for so long that you kinda need potential new readers to get into the franchise, and this book does not accomplish that at all, especially with the poor pacing of events. I get that these comics can't be episodic Monster of the Week gimmick fest like the show, but at the very least can we get, like, any kind of traditional monster mashes to fight in between the god-awful space racism politics? Also, side note, maybe it's a bad idea to have a space racism story starring the characters from the season infamous for having white guys with unexplained Japanese last names. Like, even if you remove all the Power Rangers coat of paint from this is just a bad comic book that I didn't gain anything from. The artwork was nice, but it can't salvage the amount of try-hard bullshit this comic throws at the wall and fails to stick. I will give this comic some positives, though. I did unironically enjoy issue 6 as a character study of the Prime Blue Ranger, which is the most I felt endeared to the main heroes of this story, as it took time to breathe and explore this bittersweet backstory. I also like the idea of making Rita the mentor figure to the Prime Rangers, even if she becomes the 6th one way too early, and the potential of that idea is never fully realized. But those few good ideas can't save the fact that I think this comic sucks, yet somehow the VR Troopers spin-off comic might be a little worse. Oh yeah, VR Troopers pop up in these comics from time to time, but they aren't even based around virtual reality, so who the hell cares? Man, everything around Power Rangers has been bleak recently. With the mismanagement around the whole franchise and its toys leading to the source material Super Sentai to hiatus hell, to these shitty comic books that don't seem to be improving anytime soon, as the next few retreat back to MMPR nostalgia slop with shitty new designs coupled with storylines that we've already done before, to the lack of any TV presence despite still being a beloved franchise that kids and adults love to this day, it's honestly maddening as a fan! While I know a lot of people are hyperfixated on the Super Sentai jail that Power Rangers' entire existence makes, and it is stupid, I will agree, I was willing to overlook it if we get fun stuff for all ages, but instead we get absolutely nothing on TV, as the toy shelves and comic books are run by the same old 90s toys, and really bad sci-fi lore remixes in the comics. Also, side rant for Toei specifically, since they aren't getting off scot-free either, and it's going to be a while before I cover this show, the lack of a Western simulcast for Project Red and Gavon Infinity is really frustrating right now, when the opportunity to seize it is right there. I thought another big part about Sentai ending was so these new Project Red shows can get legally released for everyone, but I guess we're just focusing on Western commoner distribution right now. Oh well, at least Toei's pushing for a Western presence despite their archaic methods. Hey, thanks for watching this video. I want to give a special thanks to my patrons, Gillustrations, Koala Robobi, Alex Ann, Zai of America, Riddler Randy, Titanium Rocket, Pack Jeff, and Jack Rocket. Sorry if this video was so negative, I just need to get this out of my system before I exploded.